took my third sip. Come on in, you guys. Come on in. 6 a.m. Espresso with Sarit. And we're back. Thank you for joining in again, guys. Sorry about that. We got this figured out. There she is. Okay.
Hi there.
Yes.
We did it. I did it.
Yeah, that was super easy.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Trust me. Like, it keeps on getting easier and easier every single time. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. Do you have some coffee next to you?
I have it right here.
What are you drinking?
I don't know. I think it's like some butterscotch espresso type mix that I blended. It's
Nice.
just a good thing to get the day going. And great to see your face so early in the morning.
Hey, likewise, man. You're just a ball of inspiration. And you know, yesterday when I made the post, and also a couple of minutes ago too, I was telling everybody that, you know, I'll be the first to tell you that it's not very easy to inspire me, and I tell you this all the time. Like, you inspire me a lot, and I know that you have some really great messages to share, and that's why I'm just so excited for you to just share your wisdom. We're going to start our day with so much inspiration and wisdom because, you guys, this woman is thebomb.com. Yeah, you're amazing.
Thank you, Sarit.
Oh my gosh, absolute pleasure having you. So, you know, today we're basically going to talk about, you guys, how I feel like people think that generally there is the one way that you have to follow in order to become fit and healthy, and we know that it's not true. And, you know, you've been on your journey for quite some time, and you've had one heck of a journey. So let's begin. If you can just take us back to, when did you actually start your journey? What inspired you? What got you to get started? And as we're talking, I'm sure we're going to start hitting like some bits and pieces and obstacles that came in the road, and we will take it from there.
Okay. Well, I basically have always been active since I was a kid, played on the playground all the time, loved to play at lunchtime at school. I just loved to play, but I never really got into high school sports. I was a cheerleader, but this was a long time ago. This was like 40 years ago because I'm almost 58, and that was before cheerleading was as acrobatic and athletic as it is now. It was more dance oriented. It was great. It was fun, and it required a lot of coordination and so on, but I really enjoyed that a lot, and I enjoyed the people part. And as I got into college, I got a job at a gym, and so I started working out. And my job at the gym was just at the front desk. But I got inspired by the people around me, and actually competed in a bodybuilding contest in Marin County. Yeah.
You never told me that.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it was so long ago. So that was pretty fun. And I developed a love for being fit and feeling strong, just emotionally and physically. And so as time went on, I got married, had kids, and continued my fitness journey. I worked out at the gym all through those years. And about, I guess for the year I turned 50, I started doing P90X in my garage, just all by myself, 5:30 every morning, and really enjoyed that. But then there came a point in my life, as sometimes things happen really in everybody's lives, where you have a road bump in some way in your life. And we had a challenge in our lives that really threw me for a loop. It pretty much took my legs out from under me for a while. And I found myself going down the road of just being down all the time. And I realized I was starting to feel depressed, and I could not get myself out of that mode. So I went to my doctor, who is this wonderful Indian woman. She had a beautiful blend of East and West type of medicine. And she encouraged me to go to my church and talk to somebody at my church. And I did that. And this wonderful woman, encouraged me to change something in my routine. So I decided to change. And that's when I went into a CrossFit gym and walked in the door, said, "Am I too old for this?" And they said, "No, no, absolutely not." And so I started coming that very next day, and that's when everything really just jumped up to the next level for me. I totally loved what I was doing. It took my mind away from being in my own head too much and pulled me right out of that funk that I was in. And I really never looked back from that. It was truly life-changing for me. And I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity to find CrossFit. And that has led me to other things, Olympic weightlifting. And now I'm in this realm where I'm doing the things that I love to do in the gym. I'm still at a CrossFit gym. I'm at Offshore CrossFit still, and love that. And I just love being in the gym and challenging my body and my mind to see what I can do. I love being fit. I love eating well, and I love the way it makes me feel.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so you said a couple important things here that I want to touch on. Real quick question: at what age did you start doing CrossFit?
I started CrossFit at 50.
Okay,
so I've been doing it for 7 years, 7.5 years.
Okay, amazing. And you said something very powerful. And by the way, God bless your doctor, because I feel like those kind of doctors are very far and few in between, who, mix East and West. But she said something powerful: change your routine. Whatever it is that you're doing, you need to change your routine. So I know that we live in a society where change seems to be something very, very bad. And she basically gave you the right advice, which required change. But we know that change is not something that most people like to do. So could you touch on, knowing that you had to make a change, how did you feel going into it?
Well, I was so determined that I knew I needed to make a change, and I wanted that to be what helped me. And so I just did it. I looked online for the schedule to see when the gym was open. I walked in, and I felt intimidated by it to some extent, but I also knew that this was what I needed to do. And when the reward is more than the risk, it's like you just do it. You do it afraid. And if you can be afraid and do it anyway, there you go. You're on your way. That's like the first big step. And then you just keep showing up. It's that easy. You just put your foot out the door.
Oh man, this is powerful, because I always say that the greater the risk, the greater is the reward. And truthfully, the greatest things in life happens when we get ourselves outside of our comfort zone. I'm a huge believer in that. But the reality is that in order for you to live a better life, you have to get very uncomfortable. And I think that is also one thing that currently society is struggling with, because everybody is on a quest for the next magic pill.
Right.
Lose 20 pounds in 2 weeks. Increase your bench press by 50 pounds in 5 weeks. Like, none of these things are realistic. And I feel like so many people fall into this trap that's completely unrealistic. And then they get discouraged because they take it upon themselves and they start losing faith in themselves, which we know that, when we don't have self-confidence, then that is not a very good thing. So, you guys really take Karen's words of wisdom and just apply it to your life. You need to get outside of your comfort zone in order to really live a better life. And now I'm not saying go jump off of a cliff, like it's going to be good. But if something makes you slightly uncomfortable, that is a good feeling. Nobody that ever stepped into a gym or, looks and feels a certain way did that because they were always great. They were always intimidated. And I will tell you this. I'm sure that any CrossFitter will tell you, or somebody who ever tried CrossFit and then stopped doing it. Anybody who steps into a CrossFit gym on the first day feels extremely intimidated, because everybody looks like a beast and everybody does some like crazy, amazing thing, right? I first stepped into a gym, I was completely intimidated, but I was like, well, I'm already here. I guess I just have to do it. And, man, that is powerful.
And pretty soon you're doing it.
So throughout your journey, you went from cheerleading to working at a gym, and then you started basically getting into bodybuilding. And then your journey kept on developing. You were always active, P90X, CrossFit, Olympic weightlifting. Man, you've literally like done it all, and I love it. Throughout your journey, I know that you've had some obstacles too, and some injuries in the way. And I remember speaking with you when you were going through first was it your foot injury?
When I broke my heels, both heels.
Yes. And then recently your hip.
Yes.
And, you guys, full transparency here. I hear so many people tell me back in the day when I was, pro football player, blah, 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 I was in such great shape. And then I got injured, and then I gained 200 pounds, and then it all went downhill from there. And for you, you've had a fair share of injuries. So if you can just touch on the injuries that you've had, but the most inspiring thing about you is not only the obstacles that you've faced, use that as an excuse to let you down. I mean, you guys, if you were to look at her, like, that woman is absolutely shredded, and she's like the real definition. Like, if she can do it, anybody else can do it, but you just need to apply life the way she does, and that is why she's here on the show. So if you can touch base a little bit about your injuries and just your mindset throughout it, and what do you do to overcome these?
Okay, sure. About a year ago, I broke both my heels falling off of a 7-foot retaining wall, barefoot. And I landed on concrete and broke both my heels. And at that time, I was going to a gym and working out. And so I had the surgery to repair it. And 2 weeks later, I decided I needed to get back in the gym. And so I drove to the gym, my crutches, I got out of the car, and the first thing I did was fall into a bush and have to pull myself out. And I thought, okay, this is humbling. I wonder how this is really going to go once I get in the gym. Well, I got in the gym, and I just started to do what I could do. And that's where I ended up getting really strong in my upper body. Lots of pull-ups and dips and push-ups and handstand holds. And that experience right there helped me with what I had to go through a year ago when I broke my heels. I knew that as soon as I got recovered, a little bit, I could get back into action. And so I went back into the gym and just did what I could do. I found all kinds of ways to use the equipment. It was a little scary to go in at first in a wheelchair, and my friend came and picked me up at home and literally carried me on her back to put me in the car. We wheeled into the gym, and I just started using the equipment in the best way that I could. And pretty soon, I found that I was able to do a lot of stuff, and it just every day there was a little bit more that I could figure out, and I felt a little more comfortable. But it was so fun overcoming that fear of going in there. Okay, now what do I do? It just every day I felt like I had a win when I left the gym, and it was so inspiring. And before I knew it, I was out of the wheelchair and onto a scooter. And then before I knew that, I was out of the scooter and walking around in 2 boots. But it was just really fun. I just had fun every day I went because I was so excited that at least I could do this. I might be hung up here with my feet in a boot or boots, but at least I can do this. And I was so grateful with what my body could do even in those times. Does that make sense?
Oh man, I just wrote down so many things because I'm like, she's just so great and I love it. And there's so many great lessons here. I'm quickly going to give a shout out to Casey Trial. I think, Casey, you're watching this right now too. You guys, I have a very deep passion for the wounded warriors because they sacrifice their lives to provide us freedom. And I think that freedom is very often taken for granted. But when I was chatting with Casey, she was about all the adversities that she and her family are going through, and of course her husband, who is a wounded warrior. And she was telling me something, and I don't think I'm saying this word for word, so please, excuse my language, but it was so powerful. What she said was, when we wake up every morning, we're grateful because we're still here. And
True.
And as long as we're alive, anything is possible, right? And I think that, an injury is a form of adversity. And I always tell this to, any friend or client of mine, like, behind every adversity is a blessing. But I think what brings most people down, and tell me this if you agree, is if you don't have the right perspective and you're not grateful about it, then you're not going to find the blessing behind it. So you're basically going to, go downhill.
Right. I totally agree with you.
Yeah. And then something else that was very powerful that you said is an injury is a limitation. Okay. And please go ahead, anybody who's in the room, if you can just go ahead and give us a thumbs up or anything like that if you are either going through an injury or if you've had an injury. Now, I feel like this is something that's barely ever talked about. We all go through injuries. It's just, I think it's a part of the journey that's never talked about. And like we said before, if there is a reward from whatever it is that you're doing, then there is also a risk from it, which means that as long as you're in this journey, chances are that you're going to be injured at one point or another. Hopefully not, but it is very inevitable. But now, I feel like a lot of people who get injured end up basically starting a downward spiral because they make it an excuse, because they have a limitation, because now they can't follow a program perfectly because they have a limitation, and therefore they're not as motivated. Unlike you, your perspective was everything. That's what created the switch. You knew that basically your legs are out. So you're like, okay, I'm going to take this adversity and I'm going to use it as a blessing to just get my upper body really freaking strong. And you guys, here's what we're saying. There's no cookie cutter road for your journey. Yes, you could be on a certain program and whatever it is, but then suddenly one day you get injured. Basically your lower body is out. All you got to deal with is upper body. Who cares if you can't follow the program perfectly? It's not about following the program perfectly. It's about showing up every single day and giving it your all. That is exactly what's going to make you better for tomorrow. And Karen, within the past 2 years, you've had what, 3 injuries?
Yeah, I broke my heels last year, and like you said, when you're pushing yourself and kind of getting out there, testing your limits, things are going to happen. So I've had little things pop up. Most recently, my hip's been a little jacked up, been too tight, and as a result of just a lot of use and doing things, it just all added up. And so my hip's been pretty tight. My piriformis muscle pressing onto my sciatica nerve, and so a lot of shooting pain there. But it's getting better. But it just involves working around it and your perspective. I mean, when you go through life, there's always going to be something that pops up that you have to deal with, and it's an obstacle. But you just over it around your perspective. If you let it take you down, great, it will. But if you pursue, you want to do, and just change your game plan and go at it with a good attitude and being grateful for what you do have and what you can do and what is going on in your life. There are always positives. If you pull those up to the forefront and don't let yourself get bogged down, you can keep moving and use that obstacle as your unique opportunity to become better and stronger in some other area. Then you get healed, and when you get healed, now you've gotten better in this area, and your injury comes back, and that part of your body that was injured is now ready to go, and now as a whole you're so much better than you were before that injury. So you can even look at those injuries and those setbacks as, I'm so grateful that happened, because now look at where I am, and I wouldn't be right here if that didn't happen. So it's like all about your perspective, and each person has that opportunity to determine what their perspective is. So take your pick. The day's going to go by, the week, the month. How are you going to use it? You can either be wallowing in your, I feel bad, pity party, or you can rally and have, just have an amazing run through a kind of a crummy situation.
Oh my God, the wisdom. So again, this is so powerful because, I always tell this, and I know that I think that, the way we view things is a bit different, but that's why I'm so grateful for fitness, because it really was the catalyst to my life. But really, every day when you wake up, as long as you're alive, you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity to show up and to make the most out of your day. And it's not about focusing on what's limiting you and what's going on, but it's about making the best of what it is that you have at that very given moment. And I feel like so many people either give up on themselves too quickly because they feel as if now they're limited, so therefore they can't do things perfectly. And if they can't do things perfectly, then might as well shit on their entire lifestyle. When the fact of the matter is that your life, it's never about doing things perfectly, but rather it's all about showing up as your best self every single day with what it is that you have. And you guys, this is so important, because the way you apply your fitness is literally the way that you apply life. And I know is why you're such an inspiration, because your perspective to inside and outside the gym, so incredible. So please, I hope that you take Karen's words of wisdom. And if you're currently struggling with an injury and you're feeling limited because you can't do every movement perfectly, who cares? You're alive. That means that you can show up, which means that you have an opportunity to get better. It's not about being perfect. It's about being better each day. And this is not a destination. It's a journey that's all about showing up as your best damn self every single day.
Absolutely.
I love it. I have another question for you. I feel like that's very common with a lot of people when they get injured, is that they start gaining a lot of weight, and that creates a downward spiral of health issues. I think that is probably one of the more common things with injuries. And we already know that you've had your fair share of injuries, and that is not an excuse. We also know that you have some years on your life. And I always tell this to everybody. Age is just a number. It is not an excuse. You guys, Karen is 58 years old. I mean, look at her. She's amazing. But that is because of what's inside here. Okay, so I want you, if you can just, give us shed some light with regards for what your lifestyle looks like when you're in. You have to be more careful now.
So you want to know what can you?
Yeah, you actually just cut out too, sorry. Okay. So we all know that when it comes to injuries, I feel like that creates a downward spiral of health problems, because then there is also a lot of weight gain that comes along with it. But it's what's in here that changes that. So if you can just shed some light with regards for your nutrition and your lifestyle when you're injured, because you are the one person who never let any of your injuries basically become an excuse or
if I talk over you, I apologize. But yeah, when I've been injured, I continue to eat as if I was, normally, like I normally eat. I eat good food. I eat lean proteins. I eat lots of fruits and vegetables. Um, I get good rest. So when I've been injured, I continue to eat that way. I don't think, well, I'm not going to be able to do what I can do. I'm just, I'm going to eat whatever I want. And then when I'm feeling better, I'll go back and eat the right things again. I continue to eat the right things because it's the best thing for my body, number one. And me eating a lot of crap because I'm injured is not going to help anything. It's not going to help me as a whole. It's not going to help my body heal. And it takes away from it would take away from what I think of myself. I don't stop being an athlete just because I'm injured. Now I'm an athlete with this unique opportunity. So I've got to treat myself still, very well in terms of what I eat and my rest and so on. I also don't change my routine in terms of going into the gym. I might vary it, but I still go and get a workout in of some sort. Whatever I can do, I do. I change those things that I'm doing in the gym to accommodate whatever the injury is, but I still show up. Each time I still show up. Maybe I get myself outside the gym for a while and do some things outside of the gym to keep myself active in order that I don't overdo the parts of my body that still work well, that I don't run those into the ground as a result of training too much because I have a limitation. But I still keep myself active. I still eat well. I still sleep well. And I still treat my body really well and stick with that basic routine that got me to the point in health where I am right now.
Oh, I love it. And you said something that is absolutely powerful. You said, I eat a certain way because I know that that is what's best for my body. And this is so important because, and again, this applies to everything else in life. By you saying, I'm doing this because this is what's best for my body, you're taking yourself outside of the picture, right? Mm-hmm. Because you are on a mission to heal your body, right? So, you guys, I want you to think about how many times in life were you actually not getting the outcome that you wanted because you were thinking about yourself first and not putting yourself outside of the picture, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So like, mm-hmm. And I think, that's why motherhood, and I'm just a dog mom. I'm not a mom yet. But, I think moms just inspire me so much because moms don't think about themselves first. They think about what's best for my child. And that is super inspiring. But you guys, whenever adversity hits, I want you to really take Karen's words and ask yourself again, if I was to do this right now, will that be best for my body? Like, take yourself outside of the picture and do whatever it is that you can for your body. Literally show up for your body because your body is the vehicle to your soul. And I feel like so many times we end up trashing our body, and in the process of trashing our body, we're basically trashing our soul. And is it any wonder why with weight gain there's a lot of health complications, there is depression, and the list goes on, because the body is the vessel for the soul. And that's why treating your body the best way that you can every day, whatever that means for where you are right now, is an absolute obligation for everybody.
Sarit, can I add something to that?
Yeah, please.
When you are going through some type of injury and you have a limitation and you make that correct and awesome decision to keep on keeping on, the best thing you can do, and what I found, the best thing I could do for myself is find something positive every day that I did in the gym. Like, man, that was so cool how I rode without my feet on the rower. That was so cool how I, just pick something that you appreciate about how you did. Be your own best cheerleader. And because there's always something really cool that you can get from anything you do, really. But when you're in the gym doing things that are out of your norm, or you're just trying to get moving and whatever, find some way that you inspired yourself about what you did, and hold on to that when you leave. Instead of, oh man, that was so depressing, look at everybody else doing that and I couldn't do that, I really wish I could do that. Instead, no, you got to cut that. You got to stop that train of thought, flip the switch and say, wow, that was so cool what I just did. And then that's how you go through the rest of your day, and that will bring you back the next time. And that just, I think in life, you have to apply that. You have to be your own best cheerleader and support, and talk to yourself positively. It's so important.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. Again, it all goes back to perspective. Perspective, right, like literally makes or breaks your life. I'm a huge believer in that. And coming from a state of gratitude, will always help you win. It's funny, we're actually doing a 14-day challenge for, there's a bunch of you guys in the room who are actually doing the challenge.
Yay!
And so every day there's a new challenge, and I told them, I'm like, you guys, here is the thing. It's not just about me telling you what to eat or what exercises to do. That's the easy part. That's what everybody does. We do some things that are very different, that nobody talks about. And I think their second day challenge was a gratitude challenge. It was, them writing 3 things that they were grateful for in the morning and 3 things that they were grateful for at night. And I told them on the video, I was like, you guys are probably think that this is some woo-woo shit, and that's okay. But trust me, the power of this is incredible. It's not for you to know the how. It's just to accept it as it is. Accept this gift and just do this. You guys, I'm telling you. Yeah, man, how you do anything is how you do everything.
Right.
And having that approach is not just going to help you, overcome an injury, but it's also going to help you overcome, a struggle within your marriage. It's going to help you overcome, struggling with your child who is, like, let's say, growing up and is going through a tough phase. It's going to help you overcome, basically difficulties at work. Adversity shows up for everybody in a different form every single day. And, in order for you to be successful, not just inside the gym, but outside too, is by having that right perspective. And remember that your limitation is not an excuse, because for as long as you're alive today, you have an opportunity to show up. And it is up to you to show up, whatever that means. It's not about being perfect. It's about just doing your best every day and acknowledging that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. You guys, Karen is a powerful source. Please, if you have any questions, can I ask them to message you?
Absolutely.
Or
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, message me if it takes me a little while to get back. I apologize. I'm not on Facebook a lot, but I will be checking in case somebody does have a question. I would be so happy to help out. Amazing. And where, in the case that somebody just wants to find you or connect with you on a regular basis, where can they find you? I'm on Instagram at K Schneekluth. On Instagram, here on Facebook. Message me and I'll give you my phone number so we can text. If you want to have coffee or something like that, I would be, love to do that too. So just message me if you want to connect, and I'll give you my phone number and we can go from there. Oh my gosh. You guys, there you have it, Karen. I still have a hard time pronouncing your last name, and I shouldn't be talking because my whole name is on. Okay, Schneekluth. Schneekluth. Okay. Yes. Karen Schneekluth.
there you have it. She's an incredible human, and I feel so blessed to have you in my life. Thank you so much. We can only do things together. Transformation does not happen in isolation, not for me, not for Karen, not for you. So please, if you got questions for Karen, you know where to find her. If you found this episode powerful, then please do me a favor and help to pay it forward and just go ahead, share it on your wall, and tag your friends who you think need to listen to it, and just let God do its thing. Karen, thank you so much for your time today. You're welcome. Full of wisdom. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Sarit. I appreciate you too. You rock.
You guys have an amazing day. Bye, Karen.
Bye, Sarit. Love you.
Love you too. Have a great weekend.
You too.